Hello guys, and welcome to another replay analysis. We are currently looking at a Protoss versus Zerg of the gold category. The Will versus Fury. We're going to be helping Mr. Fury over here improve his gameplay. Give him ideas. Give him motivation. Crush his spirit by yelling at him a little bit. And then, that's about it. So, let's see how. Oh, okay. Make your life easier and just rally your Nexus. If you're against a Zerg and you want to build your pylon at the natural, I know. Okay, so now this is the only time I'm ever going to tell you don't do this. Every other time, I'm going to tell you to do this because I know the last time we talked, I told you to send your shit down there to your natural, like when you know, when you had a, like, you have to account for how much money you're going to have. The pylon is the only one I would say you don't have to do this for. You can literally build a probe and have the probe pop out of the Nexus on the side of wherever you rally it for. So if you like have a rally point here, the probe will pop out right there, and so on and so on. Wherever the line is coming out of the Nexus is where the probe will pop out. So if you had a probe pop out here, you could still build the pylon with your first probe that builds, and you'd still not supply block. So this is just kind of a waste of your minerals, because one of the other reasons why is this probe is going to build it maybe like 1 or 2 seconds too fast, which means your probe is going to be sitting here for longer. So you should build what I said. You should do what I said, where I was like, pull your probes off the mineral line when you have enough money for it, except for your very first probe that builds a pylon. Let that just build out of the Nexus, because this is now going to be too early. By a certain degree. How long did you wait to pull them off, though? Let's see. Let me see this. Okay, yeah. I was like, why does it feel weird, though? You waited 5 seconds to build a probe. 5 seconds to build a probe. No wonder why that felt fucking weird. I was like, why do you have so much money, though? That's why. That's a fucking huge amount of time to waste on the first probe. You, like, I'll just say this. Back when there was what's it called? No fucking 3, 2, 1 countdown. There was still, in my opinion, no excuse for having a worker start this late. There was no excuse because you could center your mouse in the load screen. You could still move your mouse on the load screen. But most people didn't do that unless you were higher level. But now, even further, when there goes game start. There's like a 3, 2, 1 countdown. You can still see your Nexus now and your probes and all that shit. So you should literally, in the 3, 2, 1 countdown, be mousing over the Nexus, and the second it hits 0, click D or click E, whatever the fucking hotkey is for you for probes. It's probably gonna be E because E is my camera hotkey. But yeah, make a fucking probe is my point. Make a probe. Get ready for your lay your finger on the hotkey for probe. Click the Nexus, hit the hotkey for the probe. You should totally be doing that, and if you're not, why are you not doing that? So do that. This 5 seconds late probe is no excuse. Watch this. You rip that probe off the mirror line. Watch how, like, if this probe was this probe just spawned right there. This probe could have spawned like right there. So you'd have a probe literally there or there, but now this probe's not turning in its minerals and it's wasting mining time. Like, just leave your mineral line alone for the very first probe. That's it. Just the first probe. And then every other probe you can do this shit with. Oi. You're not making probes again. Okay, now you did. You chrono boosted early as well. Now you are supply blocked on this Nexus for like 1 to 2 seconds of your chrono boost. And then now it starts again. Do not chrono boost until after the pylon is done. Make your gateway. Oof. Honestly, Atomic Koopa. I was about to say Risaran, but Atomic Koopa. I would say if your build is already this fucked up, like 5 seconds late on the probe, you missed another probe again, you supply blocked again, 3 fucking cycles of stoppage on your Nexus in the first 46 seconds, and your assimilator before your gate, I would say you don't have to necessarily just like leave, but chalk this one up to a fucking wash. Because your game, like if you're wondering why you're having problems, these are fucking massive problems that you're just developing in the start of the game again. So if all I can really do to help you here is give you a crash course again on what the hell you're supposed to do for like the build order for the first up to like 25 supply. And it's pylon, gate, gas, that's right. Pylon, gate, gas, Nexus, core, gas, pylon. And then the first chrono boost on your Nexus pops off when the first pylon is done, and the second chrono boost pops off on your Nexus again when the second pylon is done. And you can also pair the second chrono boost on the Nexus with a chrono boost on the gateway for a stalker. That's it. But your game is all like, what the hell's happening over here? You're so far behind. What is happening right now? Are you just going Nexus? Okay. Oof. Okay, we're gonna speed it up now, and I'm just gonna see what your game plan is. Also, okay. We'll talk about that too in a minute. I just want to see what I'm getting into here. Oh, good God. I fucking love you, Koopa, but this game is holy shit, dude. I'm not gonna lie, my brain is being overloaded right now with just looking at how many ways you could have fucking died. Repeatedly. Like, for instance, everything's delayed. Your wall's way too open. You made multiple observers. You could have been all in. You didn't scout shit. You made a zealot. You fucking Templar archives before a third. Jesus Christ. So many things are wrong here. Now let's go back. let's get a fucking reset. I love you, Koopa. Realistically, your pylon, your first pylon, or your first probe should make it 0 seconds and goes to 12 seconds. It pops out of the Nexus at 12 seconds. From running from here to here, your probe should take about 5 seconds to go from there to there. Maybe 5-6 seconds. I'll give you 6. So you should be at 18 seconds right here or so. Pylon gets thrown down around 18 seconds. A pylon's build time is about 18 seconds. So that puts you at 36 seconds. The second the pylon is done, literally 1 second later, your gateway should start. So your gateway should start at 37 seconds. In a average game against Zerg where you're building your pylon here. 37 second start gateway. Let's just go back to your gateway. $37, but it's getting thrown down at 101. 101. Oof. That is a ridiculously late gate. And this also coincides now with a ridiculously late scout. Now let's fucking go. Your probe needs to scout right away. It waited about 1 second again further. Your probe should be at his base right now. But now that you're running across the map, blah, 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 blah. Let's look at your scouting really fast. And I know you're Gold League, so we're not going to go too deep into this. But you see a hatchery. This hatchery looks like it's almost done. Now I'm going to just let you know a secret. This is how your hatchery, when you see a hatchery, this is how it should look if you scouted at the right time. This hatchery being this late is indicative of him going pool first. Or like early pool. This hatchery's late as... Why is his... the The fuck is going on in this? I'm gonna look at his build. What is he doing? What are you do? Okay, he waited also for a little while before he made a. He waited for 2 seconds before he made a drone. I gotta just look at his build. What the fuck is this guy doing now? Okay, 16, 17. He cancels the larva. He sends 2 drones out. He goes back down to 14 on the middle line. Yeah. I guess. I forgot that he drone scouted, and he's built a fucking simulator in your base and stuff. That drone scout is kind of expensive. No wonder. That is a reason why his shit's a bit late. Like, this is... Every second this drone is off the mineral line is like 1 mineral, 1 mineral, 1 mineral, 1 mineral, just wasted. So, yeah, that makes more sense. He's drone scouting you. I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, what? Like, you just see a natural, though? The big one is you see a natural, and we're good to go. Okay, so we'll go back to this. You see a natural, you're done. You even went further into his base. You touched his mineral line. Now, I don't give a shit that you didn't scout his pool. You just saw a natural. We'll just call it a day there. If you saw no natural, or if you saw a natural that was like just barely getting started, and you saw lings as well coming out of his base, that will be a cause for a zealot. This gas in your base is not a zealot. Do not make a zealot because he builds a gas. Who cares? You don't need that gas anyways right now. You could easily kill that shit with a stalker. You're not rushing like a sentry all-in build, so you don't need 4 gases right away. The fact that you have 2 probes sitting here as well, I highly dislike this. These could be mining your gas. Or your mineral line that is not even fully saturated right now, which is also very bad. Now, never, ever, 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 ever build your wall like this. No matter who you are. I don't give a fuck who you are, what your name is. Unless you're like a 6K Protoss who just can map it out in your head. You know the exact pacing, or not really pacing, but pathing of everything. Of like, or pathing is also wrong. That's not the right word I'm trying to say. You know the range of the building. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. If you know that, you could do this and get away with it. But just make your life easy and always build your second building. Hi, Mila. Hi. Hey, what's up, baby? Hello. Build your second building off of the first building. Okay? Do it off of the location of the first building. So, what you should do is you should build your core. Oh, Jesus. Fucking mouse spongy. You build your core like right there. But you don't actually build it there. You start it there. You touch the next, or the gateway with it. It's red. Now it's green. Now you bounce it up by 1 pixel to right there. You build the core right there. And the reason why is because you create a door with your first 2 buildings. Always do this. And then if you ever fucking horribly place your pylon or something like that, and you're like, well, shit. It's going to be hard now to fill in the rest. If you put your core right there, the way you could fix this wall now is put a gateway right there. And suddenly you're walled off and you're good to go. And that wall is a 1-door wall. It's a 1 little pixel doorway. Your wall is asking to fucking die. And if you put another gateway here, you could fit another gateway in this. But you'd be fully walled. You would be 100% walled in. So you cannot put a gateway there. And you can't put a gateway there because it's not enough room. You'll overlap it. And you can't put a gateway way out here because there's no pylon over here for range of pylon field. So you have no wall here. You have to leave the... You could put a pylon there. But then suddenly you're going to have to... have a pylon in your wall.
I tried to warn you that it was awful. I have no idea how I played so bad this game, and don't worry, it gets worse.
Oh, great. That sounds good. The Atomic Koopa, thank you for the bits, man. I look forward to seeing what's going on in the future. But the only way you can fix this is with a pylon. Definitely do not ever, though... But thank you for the bits, by the way, Koopa. Definitely do not ever leave this open like this. This is literally the worst thing you could ever do against Zerg. If you ever do this against Zerg, you should lose. You should lose. Because there are so many Zergs out there that just like to do Zergling cheese. And if you don't just do something as simple as build a wall, you deserve to die to Zergling Cheese. Or you're going to. It's not even deserve to. You're going to die to Zergling Cheese. Unless the Zerg player has the worst macro ever, you're going to die. You will just die. So always base your core off of your gateway. Do not throw it like your first. Don't do side ever. Do not ever do that. I don't give a shit what Protoss player, if you're Protoss and you're listening to me right now, do not ever do this. Ever. Always do core off of the gateway. Put it next to it. Lift it by 1 pixel or left to the right, to the left, down, up, whatever you got to do, whatever position of the map you spawn on. And then once you space the core of the gate by 1 pixel, like a little hallway, plant the core. Wherever the fuck that is. Plant it. And now your core is perfectly placed for a perfect wall that you can fill in the rest. And if it's another wall where you can place it right above it, that's wonderful. If it's a map like this where the destructible rocks make it a little weird, you can just place it to the right. The only way you should be able to handle this with guesstimating your perfect locations of your core and your gate on both different sides at first, and then filling in the gateway third, is if you are a very good Protoss player that is a fucking architect, basically, of Protoss, and you know exactly where to place your pylon and exactly where to place your core and your robo. If you know the exacts with 100% certainty, then you can do this. But if you ever guesstimate it, if you're ever the guesstimating kind of guy where you're like, I think it's right, probably, I don't know, we'll see. If that's how you feel, don't ever do this. Don't ever do this. Place it off the gate, and then you'll never fuck it up, ever. Makes it your life way easier. And people do this shit all the time. All the time. Don't ever do that. Good job wasting minerals. Holy fuck, dude. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie. Koopa, I'm not gonna lie, dude. You actually are behind from his gas steal. He forced a zealot out of you, and he also made you waste so much time with 2 probes. He BMs me hard. Fuck this guy. But you actually wasted minerals here. You were the one who wasted minerals here over him, and it's because you made a zealot. You do not need a zealot for this, and your probes should have been mining minerals for a lot longer. And you supply blocked. You're just fucking fuming right now. You're raging. You're like, fuck the will. The only will I like is Will Smith. This one fucking sucks. Ugh. I love you, bro. Dude, ooh, your game is totally fucked up. I don't even know what to talk about anymore. Your gateway has literally been idle ever since you made a zealot. For you've 3 minutes in and you haven't done shit with it. And it's also a delayed gate. Like, you're so dead if he does anything. I can't really analyze this. I'm gonna try my best. But I mean, simply put, we don't have to do the math on this. I can kind of guesstimate how much time you wasted here. Your gateway should have been started at like 37 seconds. Which means your gateway should have been done at like 1:11 or some shit like that. Something around there. It's a 46-second build time. I don't know. I'm not doing the math right now. It's like maybe like 1:15. I'm going to just say 1:15. Your gateway's done at 1:15, okay? We'll just throw that number out there. Since 1:15, when your gateway should have been done, you've literally made just 1 zealot. And that was over 2.5 minutes ago almost. That is very unacceptable. And you just started your warp gate as well. You should already have warp gate basically almost done right now. It should be like finishing right now, and you should already have 3 units, and they shouldn't even be a zealot. If you made a zealot, you should have 4 units, because you made the zealot before you even have the core done. So you should actually have like 2 stalkers and a sentry right now, and your warp gates should be like literally like that close to being done right there. Like, it's super close. Like, it should be like this close to being done, like right there. It should be like finishing any second now. So you're very far behind in your production. Now, if you look at your probe count, I mean, you did miss a few probes here and there. You're not even fully saturated on the main yet. You were supply blocked a few times. I know your probe count is down to where it should be as well, a little bit. And you're making Robo and Council. I'll give you this though. You're doing a better job spending your chrono boost than before, but you're spending multiple chrono boosts on your gateway. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do this. In general, I know you might be doing it because you're like, I'm so far behind, but I mean, a simple analysis for that would be, why the fuck are you behind, right? Like, just don't get behind. Like, don't let yourself have to be like, I gotta catch up on my gateways because I forgot to make shit for forever. Like, try to not let that happen, obviously. But the fact that I just want you to know that chrono boosting the gateway is a horrible thing to do right now. You do not want to do this right now. You want to chrono boost your probes because your goal is going to definitely be to take a third base. So this is horrible. You don't want to ever do that. The first one's okay because the first chrono boost keeps you safe from when people decide, you know what I'm going to do with my defensive lings? I'm going to go randomly throw them at your base. It keeps you safe from that shit, and it also helps you kill the Overlord if you get scouted early. So you just get a free Overlord kill.
Chihuahua.
Chihuahua. Chihuahua. Thank you very much for the bits, Larissa. How you doing? Chihuahua. Your third base is it's starting to get down that threshold of being delayed, and the reason why it's delayed is because you're going triple tech. You just went all the way to Templar Archives with a robo. This fast. You could make a robo before your third base. And to make like immortals and shit. You should not be making this fucking Twilight Council or this Templar Archives, either one of these buildings, until after you've started your third base. The only time you ever make a timing, or these buildings before your third, is if you're going to do a timing. If you're going to go for a charge lot timing, and you're going to do like 8 gates with it, like you're making more gates too. You should definitely have taken a third base. Your third this is all out of order. This building is okay. The rest of these 4 buildings, excessive. You should take these after your third, because look at your natural. Your plan is to go for a third, but now you're fully saturated and you have nowhere to send probes to. And you didn't even saturate this mineral line very efficiently either. You were supply blocked and you missed probes here and there. And you're still already supply blocked, or you're still already oversaturated now before you even started a third. This is a very late third for the way you're playing. Hey, your third started at 5:25. That's so late. And like your robo got made early, and you made 2 observers, and you haven't been doing shit with it. You have very, 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 very bad uptime on all of your production this game. The amount of okay, like the supply right now for you should be like 30 supply higher than it is, with the amount of production you've given yourself. I am glad though. I will give you praise you and say you are spinning chrono boosts. I'm very happy about that.
TBH, I've been waiting for when you say that I can do better than this because I have done better than this.
Oh, I know you do better than this. This is fucking terrible. Koopa, this is like on par with like the first game you sent me. I know you can play better than this. I just watched your last one. I literally watched you like, if you like started on like the first step of the staircase, and then you were like on the 5th step of the staircase now, this is like all the way back to like the 2nd step again. Like you went backwards like a few steps with this game specifically. Like this is awful upkeep. And this is also totally out of order again. Like the concept of everything makes no sense. You're rushing tech to not use it. And you're also rushing lots of production to not use it. This is not an army that is valid for 4 gateways at 6 minutes. You have fucking what is that? That's you have 14 army supply. You have 4 zealots and 3 stalkers. That is 14 army supply at 6 minutes, and you opened up with a double gate expand, and then you added on 2 more gates at like 4 minutes or something, like 3.5, 4 minutes. Like you should have seriously out of army supply to your gateways. If you're making 4 gates this fast and you're delaying a third that hard, you should actually have, instead of 14 supply, you should have like 40 supply at this point in time. It's not even like close, because this is so late in the game to have this few units, and you don't even have a single immortal yet at 6 minutes, and you made the robo at like also like 3.5, 4 minutes. You made 2 observers and then just let it sit there forever, and you went for charge. Charge lots actually suck really badly unless you have a lot of them and you can overwhelm your opponent with them, and that, yeah, I mean your opponent's macroing a lot worse than you are though. So even though you're playing like absolute crap this game, your opponent is playing even worse than you. So I mean you're even like you know what? You know, you guess what, Atomic Koopa? You don't like this guy, but guess what? The biggest shit talk could be, okay? You could pat yourself on the back, and you could say this. Hey, yo, the will. My shittiest game is better than your average or maybe your best, okay? This is literally the worst game I've played in a fucking week, and I'm still way higher than you. Jesus. Fucking Will, are you even there, bro? Did you go AFK for a while? Will, if you're a viewer of mine and you're a sub, I'm sorry. It's just that I gotta support Fury in this. I don't actually know you. Okay, Fury's my boy right now. Fury, I got your back, dude. Okay. Alright, good shit. I'm Will, sad face. I'm sorry, dude. Alright. So, yeah, I mean, your build just paced like crap right now, though, for real, Koopa. Like, look at your main mineral line. This is a good indicator. Like, you don't even have 14, or, dude, you have 14 out of 16. This is already a fuck up as it is as well. But just remember, I'm not going to ask you a question specifically. I just want you to think about this for a second. When your main mineral lines, or when your main mineral line starts depleting, what Nexus number should you be throwing down? And then, you know, you think about it for a second, and then I'll say it's number 5. It's Nexus number 5, and you are about to start mining these patches out. This one has 140, and there's 2 probes literally sitting on their ass doing nothing. Like, you should be mining these out faster than you are as well. You're just not actually saturating properly. Now, point is, like, in the range of 7 to 8 minutes, 7 to 8, you're going to mine out your bases. Your main base is going to start mining out. So, in 7 to 8 minutes, you should be starting your 5th base, playing this style. Your 5th base. You haven't even started a 4th yet. So, again, your pacing is very far behind right now. Super, super, super far behind. Okay, you're getting ready to start your 4th. I'm happy. Also, when you take a new base like this, I don't know, was it you who we talked about? It might not have been you. I can't remember who. No, it wasn't you. It was a different Protoss. But anyways, same concept here. You're taking a 4th base. Every time you expand, the heart of your base location changes. Right now, you should not be standing in front of your natural anymore. You should be standing with your army. Like, this should be a doorway that is blocked by, like, maybe a zealot or some shit. Or a stalker. Probably a stalker. And your army should be located, like, right here right now. Your whole army should be here now. The reason why is because if he attacks your natural, you have a doorway that'll keep him from getting in your base right away. It gives you time to react. You could easily come back and zone him out of your natural. If your army's still standing right here and he attacks your 3rd base, you're already here, you're good to go. If he attacks your 4th base, your army can walk from here up to here really fast. However, if your army's way the fuck back, tucked in your natural, and he attacks your 4th base, 100% it's going to die. That is 100% chance this is going to die. You will never save that. So you need to, like, rearrange where you build shit. Like you should be building here like you are now. Perfect. I'm glad you're building there. But you should be standing here as well. I'll say the only benefit of the doubt I'll give you here is I would say standing here is okay only because your wall sucks ass. Like, this wall is huge. It's wide open. And if a Zerg player, if you were standing here and a Zerg player showed up right here and you just ran in your base because this wall is terrible, then you could definitely get punished for that. I'll say that that is the only reason why I could justify you still standing here right now. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense if you had a proper wall. And look, he's attacking the 4th. It's going to probably die now. You could have saved that. But the reason why you didn't is because, again, your army was standing way the fuck back. And you also sent in your army in chunks because you were warping in zealots here. You left your whole army back here. when you engage that, all of your zealots ran in by themselves. All of your zealots literally ran in and suicided. And then all of your other units ran in afterwards. And you have 2 observers. I'm glad you left an observer defensive this time. But observers are slow as fuck. And it's all the way on the other side of your base. And you engaged his lurkers before observers were there. I don't give a shit about any of this. None of this should make... Like, that is why you lost. I don't really care that's why you lost, though. The easiest way to fix this is exactly what I said for you to do before that even happened. I'm glad he actually did that to you because it proves my point. If your army was standing right there, the observer travel time would be really short to go from there to there, and you'd be fine. You would have easily killed it. Also, your zealots would not have ran in by themselves. Because when you engage it, watch how your army goes in this, like, it's like you actually have so much more than he does right now. But you go in such like a single file line, and your observer is your slowest unit out of your whole army right now. This is by far your slowest thing you have in your army. And it's all the way on the other side of your base. And it's really important because he has lurkers. So watch your army reaction. Like, just watch this shit. Your zealots walk in by themselves and they go die. The rest of your army starts walking in through your doorway a little bit, so it really single files it out. Your zealots come over, they get killed by lurkers. This right here, this is 16 supply for you right here. 16 supply. And all dead. That's 16 supply down the drain before he even really had to fight you yet. And that's also a front line for you that would buy you, like, those zealots would have been able to take damage and also hit the lurkers when your observers would have revealed it. And now you have your other wave of zealots that were actually at your natural, now along with your stalkers engaging before your immortals and your observers are there. So now you're walking into even more lurkers with no detection. And this is another, like, now this is like 22 supply that's dying out of zealots only. And that's 8 supply of stalker. And now finally, your observers finally get here. And you've already lost, in this whole fight up to this point, like 30 supply already. And it's still going. Like, you're going to lose the rest of your army. But that's like 30 supply you've already lost. And then, now that's the end of it. Yeah, reposition your army, and then that will never happen to you. Heart of the base is where you always defend yourself. And now you're just bleeding out more zealots.
Upgrade complete.
You should immediately be taking another base right now. You should just be rebuilding. The second he left, rebuild that shit. And you should be taking a 5th base soon too, because you have enough money to do it, and you're under par with the pacing so fucking hard. You're going to start mining out your natural here pretty soon. And this is when you take your 6th Nexus. You're super far behind right now. This is not the time to build a bunch of gateways, because you have no active economy after your bases are mining out. You have now, if doing this, is kind of like putting yourself into an all-in. I know you have a lot of money, and I think you could have actually maybe built a few more gateways. But if we really want to talk about why you have money, it's because you didn't macro anything really for a long time throughout the whole game. Like, watch this, for instance. You're probably freaking out right now because there's lurkers in your base. But look at this. Look at this. We'll go back to your last moment when you macroed. Let's watch your camera too. So you made an Archon, or a Immortal rather. You made units out of your gateways. You chrono boosted your upgrades. And 808. 808. Your Immortal is still quite a ways from being done, but your gateways are ready to be building. Yeah. All of your gateways are ready to go. Thank you very much for the gifted sub, Buster Cow. Much love, man. And Cernificent, welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome. Welcome to the VFam, rather. Again, I think you've been in there before, but welcome again. Much love, man. 808. 808. 808. I haven't built a gateway unit since 808.
Your probes are under attack.
What's your camera looking at? $808. No macro. Your Immortal popped out now, and that was made from before 808, and no more Immortal either. You're making probes. That's good. I'm glad you're making probes. You're selecting the Nexus the whole time. You're like staring at this but selecting the Nexus. I'm glad you're making probes. That makes me happy. And then you stop making probes too, and now you just made units at 8:48. That is 40 fucking seconds of no macro. 40 seconds. Those are the reasons why you have so much money. I honestly think you probably just stared at this because you were like, oh, he's attacking me. Oh, fucking great. There's lurkers. Ugh. Lurkers are actually really annoying. This is going to be much harder to deal with now. It doesn't mean shit. You shouldn't even care that lurkers are there. Who gives a fuck? The reason why you lost that fight is because your army was so far out of position and then you walked it single file into it, which meant your detection got there last. So the lurkers had like maximum uptime. If you just had observers nearby because your army was placed in the heart of your base, if he lurker pressured you here, your observers could go from there to there. They would arrive in the time you actually take a fight. If your observers were here and they had to go from here to here, your observers would arrive at the time when you actually take the fight. They wouldn't be so far out of position that you would just be like, well, observers are going to just, like, the longer the distance is, the more the observers fall behind. Imagine if observers are like a car that goes like 30 miles an hour, and a zealot is like a fucking Ferrari that's like going a constant like 100 miles an hour. Like, if it's a short distance, they're both going to get there relatively similar to each other. It's only going to be a couple seconds of difference. But if it's a really far distance, suddenly the zealot gets there like 5 times faster than the observer does, or like 10 times faster than the observer does, and then all your zealots fucking die. Like, observers are pretty slow unless you get the upgrade, and I'm not even telling you that you need the upgrade. It's just you need to place yourself, again, centralized. Centralize your location between your bases. So here would be a great place to defend if you expanded here, and then if you took your next base there, this again would be a great place to defend. But however, if you didn't expand there, let's say you expanded here, this would now be a great place to place your army. Or like right there even. That way you could actually defend this base, you could defend this base, you could defend this base, you could even go back to your natural. Centralize it between your bases.
Base is under attack.
And then, yeah, the fact that you're making all these gateways now, this is now not the time for that. They're now going to put you into kind of like an all-in. Because here's what the problem is going to be now. You will now, 100%, I agree that you're going to be able to spend your money now. And this is why a lot of people in lower levels don't understand what macro is when they do shit like this. When you build a bunch of gateways, when you don't actually have the ability to sustain it, you don't have the sustain for this. You just have enough to like dip your money down immediately. What's going to happen after your first 1 or 2 rounds of units out of these gateways is you're going to run out of money. And then you're going to go back to what you were doing before, where you have like 70% uptime is just nothing's happening. Or I said that wrong. It's like 30% uptime, 70% downtime on your production. It's just like it mostly is inactive. My hair is like, I need to cut my hair, man. My hair is always in my eyes. It's so annoying. Holy. Now, since you're expanding down here, you should definitely kill these rocks. Kill these fucking rocks, and your army should be here. Your army should be like in this area right here. Kill these rocks, and you could easily defend this, or you could defend this. Give me like 2 seconds. I'm sorry. I gotta get a tissue, man. I feel agitated. Ugh. Alright, sorry, my bad. My nose is just like running a little bit constantly. It was bothering me. I apologize. I'm back. Okay. Now. Now look, you're definitely spending your money a little faster now. You're definitely spending the money faster. Look at all these war pins. You're going crazy on it. Holy fuck, you're making even more gateways. You cannot afford this. Watch this. This is what I want you to see. Look at all these gateways. You cannot afford this right now. The only way you can afford this is if you had active economy that was very good, and you do not have that right now. Way too early on these gates for the way the game is shaping up for you. Like, you could have made some of them. You could have made like up to like 8 gateways. Or maybe up to 10 gateways. Maybe up to 10. But you're so far behind pacing.
Vibu, I love you, and all I can say is I'm sorry for having you watch this. I knew 10 seconds into the game that this was going to be a mess.
Oh, this is a super miss, yeah. It's a big miss. It's okay, Koopa. Thank you for the bits, man. Much love. I mean, you might learn something from this that you didn't learn otherwise, because I'm like, this one's a big one, a big mess. But like, you might not know what I'm saying right now. Like, you might have been like, well, fuck. Oh, that makes more sense. Like, if I can't sustain my money, I shouldn't explode to like the 20 range. You're at 20 production facilities right now. This is 19 gateways and 1 robo. You cannot afford this. Now, just watch the bottom, guys. Watch the bottom middle here. Gateways that are lit up like that are ready to build a unit. Gateways with a window of like a cooldown clock on it, those are gateways that are currently on cooldown. They can't actually build anything yet. They're waiting to be able to the cooldown to be refreshed. And gateways like this are just they're under construction still. So 4 gateways right now are not building shit, and the robo is represented by a white dot in its production tab. Watch how much downtime you have. I guarantee it's going to be a fuckload. Robo is now no longer being built anything. Your gateways have not built shit. All your gates now are up and ready to go. And look at your money. You can't afford shit, really. You could do like 1 good round of Archons and that's it. And then that you don't have enough income to keep maintaining this right now. This is not enough probes. This is so much production. Okay, you're spending some of your of it. I guarantee you just made Templar. You just made Templar. You did, like I said, you did 1 good round of Templar. Now watch from there. Let's watch and see how much you do production-wise. Your robo hasn't built shit in a long time. I started really watching this at what, like 11:40 or sorry, 10:40, something around 10:40 is when all of it came off of cooldown. 10:40, 10:45 maybe. Just look at it. Like 2 gateways doing nothing. Robo still doing nothing. Still nothing out of these 3 buildings. Now there's a 4th building off. All your other gates are finishing. Look at all this production. No robo. Lots of gates doing nothing. Every gate's doing nothing. Okay, there we go. We did a round. You did a round. You just made like, you know, like 13 zealots or so, or like 14 zealots. You still, though, have 6 gates not doing shit, and you still have the robo doing nothing. At this point now, though, now when you're maxed, now I would say this is okay now if you added on a lot of the other gateways. If you just maximize your cooldowns of your production, you'll have same result, but you just have more money to work with to get to max faster. Like, you can't this is what I'm trying to say. This is the concept that I really want to make sense to everybody. You cannot build costs of things. Let me say it like this. This is a better way to explain this. If I have 1 gateway and I just don't build anything out of my gateway for 46 seconds because I built a 2nd gateway, and then when my 2nd gateway is done, I build 2 units at the same time. That is worse than building 2 units out of the 1 gateway in the same amount of time. Does that make sense? Why does that make sense? Because you're limited with resources at the start of the game, and if you can make the exact same amount of units with less buildings, that is good, because it means you're not wasting time. It means you now have that gateway cost itself. If you're going to get 2 units either way, but now you subtract the cost of the gateway, you have more money to spend on like a 3rd unit faster than if you make the extra production before you can afford it. It wasn't that bad because you double expanded behind it, and I'm glad you did. But you definitely should not have built all of these gateways when you were on 3 bases. Your pacing of your max is about a full 90 seconds slower now simply because of that. You could have definitely been maxed already with all of these gateways anyways if you just focused on economy first and then production first, and then when you can't spend any of your money still, then you add on the gateways. You definitely did not do that in that order. What instead you did was you were pretty decent at making probes. Your probe production is actually the best thing you've done this game that I've seen. But you stopped producing units for a long time to just make fuckloads of gates. There was so much downtime in your gateways. And watch, when we hit play again, there will once again be probably a fuckload of downtime. Like, every building is doing nothing and you're not maxed. There we go. And now you're almost maxed. You're close. You're close, but you're still not maxed. And you still have, again, like another like 13 gateways, 14 gateways doing nothing. And you're not moving out either. You're maxed and you're sitting there on your army. This is also a mistake because you're wasting time. You're trying to kill changelings in your base. Who cares about those things? Whatever. You're still not maxed. This is just so much wasted time right now. If I was sitting next to you, I'd be like, you gotta go, go. You should have gone like 3 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago. It's a lot of wasted time. And now your opponent's maxed as well. So this is not necessarily bad for you, but it's not not as good as it was. You actually have better macro than this guy, but you've allowed so much wasted time to accrue here to where now he's caught you. Now let's watch your production again, okay? Now you should be utilizing these. Okay, this is too much production now. This is too much. You went overboard. You have 20 already. You have a robo, 19 gates. And you're making another 8 gates. You're going to 28 production facilities. This is a bit fucking intense. And you're also... what you should be doing is expanding again. Like, remember what I said? Like, 4 Nexus always, right? And then every Nexus that mines out, +1 to it. So 4 by default. But now you should have 5, 6, 7 Nexus. You should have 7 Nexus right now, and you're on 5. You should have, like, 2 more bases over here somewhere. Like this one and this one. You're mining out of all of your main natural third bases, so you really need more bases. Because otherwise you're going to have this shit where it's inefficient. This is just low, and it'll mine out eventually. This is, again, inefficient. And also, just throwing this out there, maybe, honestly, go to, like, 84 or 85 probes. 80 is, like, minimum. What I would think is good. 85 is more like that's juicy. That's good. Because you're playing a style that is literally max out, replace maxes repeatedly, and just throw shit at him. So more money you have, the better. And you're going to 28 gateways. The less probes you have, the less you can afford to do this. Now, throwing this out there, I think your army will probably crush him as long as your observers don't just run in and die. Okay, good. You did what I recommended you do, which is you're following a unit with observers. I love that you're doing this. It increases your chances to have success here. Best way we can describe that is your concave. Like, again, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Your concave was not great. You shouldn't even be looking at this army, really. I don't give a shit that you lost that fight. You definitely wouldn't have had to have a fight that was that crazy if you would have moved out earlier. Because he wouldn't have been as high supply as he was with ultras and lurkers. If you went faster. Because again, look at this. Look at this. You sat at 192 for such a long time. Let's watch right when you get to 192. Like 180. You're already a good supply lead ahead. He goes up to 170. You just went to 192 at basically 12 minutes. 12 minutes. You have You could max out too. I don't know why you're not. You could totally max out. You have fucking so many active buildings that are waiting, and you have easily enough money to max. You could be maxed at 12 minutes. That's again not good though. I want you to know that I don't approve of that. I'm not like, oh, good max. That was a fucking slow max. But even though you could have maxed at 12 minutes, watch and wait and see how long it takes you to actually throw that. Like, when does this happen? Like 14 minutes? You could have been 30 supply ahead of him. 30 supply ahead for this fight. If you just win at 12 minutes. You actually take the fight at about 14 minutes. The fight really starts happening like right now, I would say. This is like the fight's really starting to like go underway, other than a couple units. Like 13:45-ish. This is late as fuck. It does not take a minute and 45 seconds to walk from right there to right there. You know what I mean? Like, that's just wasted time. You gotta really be proactive about that. And the reason why that happened is because you were chasing changelings around your base. Who gives a shit about changelings? If you see them, kill them. If you don't see them, or like they're all over the place, just fucking go. Like, don't waste time. And now again, let's watch your production while this is happening. Okay, so you just made around I'm glad you made shit. That's good. I'm proud of you. You made shit. Keep making shit. Definitely keep making shit. You're making another nexus. You made more shit. You spent your money. Good, well done. And look what happens when you spend your money and you just threw your whole army away. You're still not dead. You still have a chance here. And I don't care that you're making stalkers. Make whatever the fuck you want. Make anything. Like, you shouldn't worry about composition, because if you just have good macro, you'll win. But you see what I mean, though? Like, you don't have enough. If you would have taken, like, 8 of these gateways out of your fucking gateway count, you can't even afford to produce out of them anyways. You don't have enough money to sustain this right now. Like, 20 to 24 is what I quoted you. And this is, you're definitely on the low end of your economy, because you're being very inefficient with your resources right now. And it has been that way all game. So you definitely want to go in the minimum, the low end of that number range. Like 20 would be perfect for you here. But you've gone up to 28. And all of those extra gateway costs could have literally been the difference of like your max out right now. You could, if you had all that money, 8 gateways and minerals, what is 8 times 150? That's 1,400 minerals, right? Or something. I think it's 1,400 minerals. That's 14 fucking zealots. That's 28 supply. That's max. That's perfect max out of just the gateway cost from where you are right now. Is it 1,200? Is it 1,200? Okay, that's 12 fucking zealots then. Sorry, I did the math wrong. It's 24 fucking supply, which is almost max. You're 4 supply under, 2 zealots under. The point is you can't afford this. You never should think you can, because your economy can't. It's just it's too fucking much. It's too fucking much right now. 20 to 24 is great, and you've gone up way too much, and your income is like, like your Nexus timings are late as fuck this game. And what's happening? The reason why I'm stressing this so hard and why this is so important is because you're wasting so much time. The fact that this Zerg is able to keep maxing with you when his economy sucks ass compared to yours, that is your problem. Look at all this wasted idle time. You've gone too deep on the production side this time. So much wasted time. What are you looking at right now?
I return to serve. Mineral field depleted. Your probes are under attack. Mineral field depleted. Your warrior. I return to serve.
Now my question to you would be, I know people say they don't do it. Everyone's always like, I don't look at my army vibe. But you're definitely looking at your army in this game. And you know why I know this? You watched your probes die. You're watching your army kill his army. You're not remaking probes. And you're not macroing anymore. You definitely would be further ahead if you just remade your probes while they were dying in bottom right. And went back into the 80 plus range right away. And then you expanded literally not only just here, but here too. and here too. And why does that make sense? Because you should be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Nexus right now. Soon to be 8 Nexus. This base is also getting to the point where you're mining out soon. So you should have an 8th Nexus like there started soon, because this base is also going to need transfers away from it. You should be on soon 8 Nexus. Right now 7 Nexus. And you're once again receding to just 5. You are just neglecting your macro. You're just stopping your macro. You're having a very inefficient 80 plus worker count. If you have 80, and you don't have 80 because you actually didn't rebuild any workers that died. You're sitting on 62 still. So you're allowing yourself to be stuck into an all-in now, which is not what you want to do. Because now suddenly, if you don't fix your economy, which you're doing, which is good, but it's really late. It's after the fight's kind of over. If you lose your economy, you don't fix it. This kind of puts you into an all-in where if this dies, it doesn't get replaced as much, and it goes deeper and deeper down that hole if you stop fixing economy throughout the rest of the game. Like, look at this. This is really bad. This is fine. This is fine. This needs to be saturated more, and that's all you can do. And then this is fine. Like, all you can do is send all your probes here, which you could do right now easily, but if you make more back up to 80, this will be oversaturated, especially now in the sense that this will also be oversaturated, and these will have nowhere to go. And you're doing this shit again. I don't like you doing this. You're starting to move out with like, I know you're going to win the game, but the concept of this is you didn't just crush everything. You did kill the base, but he still has units here that are pushing you away. He has a lurker that you're running away from. He has roaches. Your idea here was to run away. And as you're running away, you're now reinforcing with a min-max army. It's not maxed, it's below max. You're running out with a 160 army. If this Zerg had good macro as well, and Zerg can also replace faster than Protoss can. If you ran your army that was 160 into a 200 supply Zerg army, if this dude had better macro, you would die right now. If you're going to attack again right now. Luckily for you, though, you're not going to die because this guy doesn't have very good macro. And you're also moving out with Templars, not Archons, which is, I know that's an oversight. I know that's not what you normally do. But, like, again, why would you leave some of your army here, and it's before max, and you have not even initiated a fight yet, and you're making a bunch of units over here to max out with? This is just fucking risky, is all this is. Because if this gets caught into a fight, this will die before this could even help it. This is a very large chunk of supply. This is like 40 supply over here, literally. That's fucking scary, man. Now, what do you do with this army? Hey, you're attacking with it. Reestablish like a spot to meet up. So if you're gonna do an A move along the bottom side of the map, which is what I think is happening right now, meet up like on your side of the map and then go like right away. I want you to be assertive about going across the map, but I don't want you to have half of your army on one side of his base and the other half on the other side. That's just asking to die. He didn't punish you for it though, so now it doesn't really matter because now your army has reconverged itself, and it's combined, and now you're at the full power of your full army here. So now it doesn't matter anymore. But that was risky as fuck what you just did right there. And make sure you also make your Archons. These Templars are actually literally worthless otherwise. Oh, you fucking got him? Yeah, this is definitely not your best game you've ever played. So, the best shit talk that you should feel, like you know, you didn't, I don't know if you said anything to him, but the best thing that you should feel about this, Atomic Koopa, is that one of your definitely shittier games I've seen you play was still domination for this guy. I think this just proves you're above Gold League, but this game was a fucking mess. This game was a absolute mess. I know you can play better than this. There was a lot of mistakes here, which we already talked about. Yeah. Now, you're winning the fight and you're still pushing his bases, so this move out makes sense. It didn't make any sense because you were just sitting there and he still had a lot of shit that he could have had. Like, he could have, for all you know, because you didn't scout anything this whole game, really, which is, I'm not telling you to, but for all you know, he could have had this base, this base, this base, this base, this base, and this base. Probably not this base. He also had this base. So let's say he doesn't have this base because you would probably see it with your probes. But he easily could have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases, which is actually more than you had for the majority of the game. You stayed on 5 bases pretty much the whole time. 5 bases. He could have had 6 that you never knew he could have had because you never scouted them. And you leaving a big ass chunk of army just to sit there, and then you move out while you make new shit over here. Because you were sitting there and you didn't really fully confirm if you had control of the game still. That was so fucking risky. You could have easily threw this part of your army away, and that's exactly how you throw the game away, where you're like, Vibe, how did I lose? I had such a lead. How the fuck did I lose? Well, you didn't really recombine your army at full power when you were doing nothing anyways. You could have literally, instead of just sitting there, you could have ran this army there, recombined it with new shit you warped in there, and then go again with 200 out of 200. Rather than going and engaging him with like 150, and then another like 50 supply army over here or something like that, and having it engaged in like pieces of your army, which gives, if the Zerg is 200 out of 200, and he just overwhelms your fucking 2/3 of your army, and then the other 1/3 of your army that comes in late after your 2/3 has died, now the 1/3 just gets destroyed as well because it's coming into a smaller number again. It's not worth, like, if you take an army that is full army and you divide it into like 2/3 and 1/3, and you attack one by one with those, that is not the same effective. That's not going to be the same effectiveness as a full 200 out of 200 army by even remotely close. It's not like, you know, 50 supply deletes 50 supply. That's just how it works. That's not how it works. If you have a 200 out of 200 army supply, you both might drop down to like 120. But if you only have like a 150 versus him having a 200, he'll drop you down to like 100, and he'll stay at like 180. And then your little 1/3 of your army approaches it, and now he drops down from 180 to like 170. And you lose that last like 40 chunk or 50 chunk of supply. So he loses like fractions to what you're losing because your army is in little divided segments of it. Because it's all about DPS uptime. And the less units you have in a fight, the faster all your units will die, the slower you kill his units, which means he rolls you over faster. That's just how StarCraft works. So that was fucking a massive mistake that I could totally see you, if you do that in the future, you could 100% throw games like that. You could definitely throw games like that. So never do that. When you move out with an army, move out with your army and don't just sit there with it. Make sure you maximize time and kill base, kill base, kill base. Like shift A move it. And if you stop and you make new units and your army is just sitting there for a while, just recombine. Don't attack anymore. Just literally back up, re-go to 200 supply again, and then re-engage with the 200 army. Do it all over again. That was really scary. I was like, holy fuck, you should die right now. But yeah, anyways. Koopa, overall, you know, this game was obviously was a mess. I would say, I will say this though. This doesn't, like, now that I saw the whole game, this does not actually look like the first game I saw you play. I mean, you definitely, I definitely do think you followed some of the instructions I've given you before. The only thing I can say to you is, I think you did them out of order. I definitely think you did things out of order, like how fast you built all those gateways. Way too early. You didn't expand before it. That was out of order. With how fast you teched up, out of order. You should have expanded faster. There were quite a few things you did this game that delayed your expansions because you did other shit we talked about. So just make sure you have those ideas kind of like locked down. Don't have it be like at 100 supply I have to do this, at 75 supply I have to do this. As long as you understand the concept, you'll never fuck it up. And the concept is spend your money always first on expanding and then add on top of that. That is the concept. Expansions are priorities because as soon as you ramp up your production, if you don't invest in an expansion, you can't fucking afford it. You just can't. So expansions are your priority. And then also the big one too is centralize your army in defense. And if you didn't lose that fourth, and you, like with the first time, the 2 lurkers or 5 lurkers, whatever it was, I think it was 5 lurkers. When those hit your top middle base, if that base didn't die, you would have crushed the shit out of that fight, and you probably would have been fine. You would have been like, well, I'm going to max out super fast and kill him. I feel like that base dying threw off your whole game. Your whole fucking game got super weird after that. Like, it was weird already a little bit, but it got really fucking weird after that. And just, yeah, recover your probes if they ever die fast. And, like, make sure they're going to new Nexus. Like, literally, don't be afraid to build a Nexus during a fight. Build a fucking Nexus. Make sure you're always mining as efficiently as you can and just max and go. Go, 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 go. Don't sit there. And you're going to have such better games. Like, you'll be able to feel like the pressure moments of a game won't feel that intimidating. Because your opponent will be like, holy fuck, I just killed a base. And he has like a maxed out army again. Jesus. I'm over here trying to micro 5 lurkers and he's fucking maxed. The opponent will be the one that feels pressured because you're just keeping on top of your macro. But yeah, overall, not your worst game I've ever seen. Definitely not the best one. But I do like that it feels like you understand the concepts of, like, you understand what to do. You're just doing it out of order. And the last thing I can say is you did a better job this time around spinning your chrono boost in the early stages of the game. Don't forget that it exists though. Spin that shit later on. I would much rather have you stayed on 20 gateways or 20 production facilities, which was 19 gates and 1 robo. I would rather you have stayed on that and spent your chrono boost than not spending any chrono boost at all and going all the way to 28 gateways. Because if you did either one of those, spend your chrono on 20 or no spin chrono on 28, either one of those would give you way too much available production that you could ever spend. Like, it's more than you need with the economy you had. Like, again, what I'm trying to say is you would have, I actually think like 5, 6 Nexus with full chrono is better than 28 gateways. Like 20 gateway with a lot of chrono is better than 28 gateways. Because you make it in rounds when you max. So every time you max, the Nexus generates energy again, which allows you to remax again faster in the future because you can do a round of chrono again, do a round of chrono again. You're not constantly doing chrono the whole time. You're just doing it when you make the rounds because it gives you 2 rounds really fast. And 2 rounds is enough to basically max you out almost every time when you have 20 production facilities. Because that's 80 fucking supply. 40 supply per round is what that means. So I hope that makes sense. Use your chrono. Use it when you remax every time. But yeah. Keep it up. Keep up your, keep trying. This game, I know it was a mess, but I'm just going to repeat myself if I keep going. Do all the shit we talked about throughout this. All of it is relevant. Work on it, and you'll keep improving. There's definitely room to improve here, and I can definitely see potential for you to be above Gold League. Easy. Because your worst game definitely looks still above Gold League. This is not a good game. But you managed to still repeatedly max, which was, yeah. You can see the result. This guy just got fucking steamrolled. But thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time. Go check out more of the replay analysis I've done if you guys are interested in learning more. And thank you guys. I will see you in the future. Or I'll see you in the next video, rather. So, yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys later. Peace, guys. Later.